This is Morten from Inkish. I have the pleasure of talking to my good friend David from Graphic Communications, a CIA division company.
Nice to meet you again. Did you get all that out right?
It gets tougher and tougher, doesn't it? So good to see you, David. It's been a while.
Yeah, another continent.
Yeah, another continent as well. I guess that we spoke about before the camera was turned on that setting up an event like this is a huge task, right?
Yes, doesn't happen overnight, these tasks. And there's a lot of people who work, even who aren't here, who work a little bit behind the scenes, who come and make things possible so we can look good here in front of customers and show them some of the new features. So like the work that goes into planning, what features are available, what's new, what can we show, what's going to work, what's not quite ready yet, and figuring that stuff out early so that it looks really nice at the show.
One of the things I always find a little bit interesting to talk about is that when you have software, I mean, you don't really see what's inside the computer, right? I mean, if you had a trade show with printers or embellishment, it would be simple to do some wonderful print samples and then show how beautiful they are, right? So when you start planning a thing like this, because I mean, customers are so different. How do you have that process of finding out what is important?
So what's quite interesting, if you think about the breakout sessions we're going to run, each product is kind of running through a track. And the idea is if you follow the breakout all the way through, you get a picture of what the software can do for you. Now, of course, people don't go to every breakout session. They look at the ones that are interesting to them. But they do tell a story coming through it. And the idea is that by the end of Wednesday night, Thursday morning, if you've been to 6 or 7 breakouts, you've got a picture from beginning to end of what your chosen product actually goes and does.
So the idea of having many breakout sessions is not an ambition to fill up each session. It's more for each customer to pick a track that is relevant for their business, basically, right?
And there are some sessions that cross over between products. So like a web to print session is quite suitable for 3 or 4 products. Yeah. A scheduling session could be all the products people want to go to. And we know already like which sessions are going to be popular and who's coming to which ones.
So you have counted the chairs and know exactly what to expect.
The rooms are going to be fine.
Fantastic. David, before we turned on the camera, we spoke a little bit about AI. Obviously, AI is almost a buzzword that
you almost can't go anywhere without talking about
but
it.
But if you just for a second take away AI and just think about mega trends within the software that you produce, is there any specific things that customers are requesting these days?
So I think these days customers are looking for connectivity. There is no such thing as an isolated system. If you go back, you brought it up at the beginning about our many name changes. So if you go back 10 years plus in the EFI days, everything was an ecosystem all combined together. That's not the case now. Okay, so that also means that there is a good logic why the companies are being separated into entities. Okay, so because I think for you guys that have been working here for the past 5 years, it must have been tough going through, but if there's a logic to it, you understand why. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to us. So we're in the Graphic Communications division, we're focused on printers in that space. Yeah. We're not so interested necessarily in the machines that we used to be interested in with Vutec, say. And we can help people connect their systems together. It's also the case when you go round printing companies, they don't use Heidelberg as a house or HP as a house. They're mixing things up. Yeah. They're using a variety of different tools. And I think the software has to respond well to whatever workflows. So
that is like, you know, with the connectivity, like the APIs and all the connectivity you see from third-party vendors like Coca-Cola and all these kind of things is basically bridging, let's say, a core system like yours, and then be able to serve what customers need in order to whatever they want to use, basically.
Yeah, and some of the APIs are enhancing. They're getting a little bit more modern in how they think. And if you take Nubium as a product, the way that API was built in an age of API, you know, some of our older products weren't necessarily thinking like that. Nubium's been built from the ground up. And so it's natural for it to want to connect to other things because that's what happens. And then the other products like Pace and Monarch are catching up with that and making their APIs more accessible and more open to it. And I think that, I mean, we always see ourselves as being the heartbeat of most businesses. You need a strong MIS, it's got to have lots of data.
Yeah.
But you also need to be able to connect other things as well.
Yeah. Last time we were here, I think it was in 22 or something like that. That was just after you broke up, or you not broke up, split up the EFI to EFI and EPS. And I remember when I spoke to some of your colleagues at the time that was like a fantastic thing because it opened up for new relationships. For example, the HP that we see here just on the side of us. Is that something that you still see also when you have these, let's say, less internal competition, open up for new business opportunities to other partners?
Definitely. And actually the integration, so the HP one started small but has got bigger. So we've had a chance to go into all of their different types of press. We've got integrations with people like InFocus, with Eco3, probably people who are here as well, that maybe we were not necessarily turned away from before, but the doors are much more open and people want to work with us as well. You know, we are the biggest in the world in terms of footprint of people, and across such a variety of industry, it would be daft for somebody like InFocus not to want to connect their system into us as well, and be daft for us not to connect with them for the same kind of reason.
There's only one thing I want to say here at the end, and that is I'm not jealous because from a communications perspective, you must have so many things to communicate because you can do so many things, right?
It's not always fun, and it is always a little bit of a challenge. I say this to new people who join us. It's like you're not selling one product, you're not thinking about one product. If you've only got one product to think about, it's quite an easy way to approach a market. It's my product, I can solve it. We have to first assess the printer to say what's going to work for you, because we've got a solution. We're confident we've got a solution, but which one is it? And so yes, it does keep me on my toes of keeping up to date with all the products and all the developments that are going on in them.
And I spoke to Brent Petersack before the show here, and he basically said that you want to grow rapidly over the next couple of years through acquisitions again. So I guess that the software that you have to communicate and integrate and learn and
possibly, although Brent looks after the whole of the CAI
So you hope it's over there.
So some of it will be in other parts as well. So I know his growth plans for us. There will be stuff on the graphic communication side. I have no idea what they are, obviously, but there will be growth on all sides.
But it was a fun question, you must admit that, right?
Always a fun question.
Fantastic. Good seeing you.